Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willy. I don't have my notes. Here they are. This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com/reallifesci-fi for access to 2 bonus episodes a week, video feeds, and more. And visit RealLifeSciFi.show, and we've got a bunch of links on there that no one cares about, myself included. Let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF. I didn't ask what he wanted to be introduced as. I didn't ask as what he want is as a preposition. I didn't ask as what he would like to be introduced. I got in a fight with my chat GPT last night because it ended a sentence in a preposition. It was being really fucking highfalutin, and so I had to call it out. Anyway.
Did you win? Or did you shut it off?
I told it never to mention my emotional state because I was screaming at it and it kept calling me frustrated. And I was like, don't ever tell me how I'm feeling. You're a robot. You don't have feelings. Oh, it's fun. I love, I was getting real mad at it. It's a fun way to live. I understand Fox News now. Let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF. It's my brother-in-law and Willy's friend. Blue Grimes.
Hey guys.
Hi.
How goes it?
What up, dog?
What's up, dog?
You're kind of a me on the WoW scale. You do the show what, once a year?
Yeah, about.
Do you remember your scale?
Yeah, I think I'm more of a Wade on the WoW scale.
Well, let's do it again because it's changed.
WoW scale.
The WoW scale is a 5-question quiz. At the end of the questions, at the end of the quiz, I will grade you anywhere between 0 and 5. If you're more of a 0, you're more of a Wade. If you're more of a 5, you're more of a Willy. Are you ready to be Wade on the WoW scale?
Yes. Yes, I am.
First question, 3-parter, hasn't changed. Do you believe in aliens? If so, have they visited Earth? If so, have they visited Earth in the last 300 years?
Yes, no, and no.
Ghosts?
No.
Bigfoot?
No.
These are the new ones.
Okay.
Illuminati?
No.
Multiverse?
I don't believe that there's an infinite number of blues out there living parallel lives. So I guess that's a no, right? Because that's kind of what the theory is.
I guess. I actually haven't read enough about the multiverse to know if that's like the standard or if it's just like these other universes could be anything, but then that's almost just like different dimensions, right?
Right. So like,
yeah.
Like picture, do you know what a brain is?
Do I know what a brain is?
Well, in
not in your context, I don't think.
In the galactic terms, in reference to string theory, they think that a universe can live within a brain, referencing membrane. And so some people think that instead of the Big Bang, the creation from the center of the universe, that our brain actually ran into another one and it created the force of the Big Bang, but not from the center of the galaxy, just ran into another one. So they think that there's a bunch of, it's just a bigger scale of the universe. And there's more.
But how does that equate to multiverses though? Because that one still exists also?
Well, that's my question. I don't know if a million universes that are all infinite universes, but that have no reference to ours, if that counts as the multiverse, because it's still multiple universes, just not a bunch of us in different versions.
But are they on the same plane of reality?
I would say, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's something else, right?
Okay.
I don't know. When you say multiverse, I mean, it's hard to combat the argument, right? Because I think the argument is if the universe is infinite, which hasn't been proven otherwise, then there's got to be an infinite number of possible realities. And those would all be on the same plane if they're the same universe.
Yeah, but this is the multiverse.
I know. That's why I don't get it.
Well, so what you're talking about is just like another, I don't even know if you're talking about a different universe. What's a universe?
Yeah.
What is a universe?
Good point.
Is a solar system a universe?
Well,
No.
There's billions upon trillions and trillions of whatever galaxies
Mhm.
Yeah.
in our universe, but we only know of our one known universe. So the brain theory suggests that there are multiple universes that are as big,
Got it.
but everything we know is in our one universe. That's the
Interesting.
biggest thing so far.
I would say that that's probably more realistic than, because I'm with Blue. I don't believe in different Wades, like some Wade working in a McDonald's with a cute hat. I mean, that's probably the future, but I don't think it's a different universe.
And you take that too, like what if there was African American Wade? Would it still count as Wade?
That would be a weird looking black guy.
Oh, here's something I thought about. I was listening to you guys the other day, and you asked this question, right? And about the multiverse. And I thought about with Finn.
Well, so Finn is your son. Okay, now
Yeah, sorry.
continue.
My son,
Yeah.
my 8-year-old son, Fenton, is neurodiverse. So think about in the multiverse, right? Then if there's other Fentons out there, other Finns, are they neurotypical, or are they all like, do they all start like from conception, right? So he was born that way.
Or think about this. If because whose genes? Is it Kim's or your genes?
Kim's.
Okay, so if Kim gets with a different husband,
Ooh,
is
good point.
Finn then like does it still
Well, see, that's the whole thing, is that like I'm not that we're trying to squash it, but if there's multiple universes, like in order for you to be made, there's a million ways you're not made.
Yeah. So we're just talking. So I'm just talking about the parallel ones that where things are mostly similar, right? So Finn
yeah,
is
only red lights mean go.
yeah.
Like in the first episode of Sliders.
Yes. So that's oh man, right better. What if
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
what so take that same concept with someone who's born without a hand, right?
Yeah.
So in every parallel universe where they're born, are they born without a hand? Versus like in one universe they're in a war and they lose their hand in the war. Obviously, then they're not going to lose it that way. So it's just something to think about. Like from
Yeah,
conception,
but
is everything the
I'm
same?
black, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Same thing, dude. Same thing. You could be black and neuro diverse.
I wonder if I'm black, are my parents the same but also black? And if so, do they still
Yes.
support Trump?
I don't know, man. Maybe Trump's different.
I mean, if in that universe where the Randolphs are, and a lot of Randolphs are black, and I don't know if that's slavery or what, but if my Randolphs are all black and they still support Trump, they're probably rich. They're probably super rich, and they probably are the first guy. You know how there's always the black guy like right behind him in the in the rallies, so that he can show that he has blackface. Like that
He's
would be
got
them.
representation.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Got one reserved seat in the whole audience.
Your folks have their Trump signs up and everything, and someone hit a golf ball into their yard the other day, and your dad went out there and waved at him and was nice, and the guy flipped him off. And he goes, Kim was gonna win. And he just drove off in his golf cart. And your dad couldn't think of anything to say, so he goes, cheater, you're a cheater. Like golfing. That was hilarious. Good story. Sorry, this is a good tangent.
Oh no, see this is what, because every once in a while Willie will float the idea of having my dad on the podcast, and it's just like no way, dude. I would be canceled by proxy. Like there's no fucking way.
Yeah, I just don't know if you'd be able to speak or not.
Oh shit. I just realized my mom was wanting to watch this episode, and now we have to tell her the wrong time. Like we cannot tell her the correct time.
Oh, it's fine. She knows I know the story.
Well, but I don't normally talk about them, and they're gonna think that like I bring it up all the time.
Well, you don't. You just said it.
I don't know if I can believe you, Wade.
Sorry. So multiverse, no, I guess.
Oh, well, so okay, yeah. So you're basically you might even be a -1. I haven't decided my my beliefs on aliens yet. I haven't decided if they visited Earth. You're straight up Wade. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Here's to it.
I do listen to you guys every week, so
Are you a Patreon?
no, I'm not. I don't know. I feel like
All right.
that's too hard for me to figure out.
Well, we've been losing a lot of Patreons and
How? What? Do they have to renew or something? How does it work?
no, they have to cancel. They have to, it's actually, you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision.
So they
like,
decided to not pay you.
yeah. It was like, it was a very conscious choice for these
Oh,
people to not
that's
renew.
hard. That's
And
hard.
I don't get it, man, because I feel like the more is like the best. I feel like the more is the best podcast there is.
I do
'Cause
too.
we get
It's-
into really, really heady, like deep stuff, man.
And it's cool because we have the reference of just having done a show.
Yep.
Subscribe to our Patreon. It's really good. No, I'm not talking to you anymore, Blue. I'm talking to the audience. It's good. It's good.
Blue's gonna do it.
Blue's gonna do it. Don't you want to be cool? It's cool, man. We have a shared photo frame where we can send photos to each other. And one that comes up all the time is you in high school, like sitting shirtless on a couch smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this guy's cool as shit.
Which couch?
It's in front of the Mason Street house where Sturgis.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
lived.
That's what I assumed it was because Fort Collins. I'm like, you weren't inside.
Yeah. That's a good one. That comes up a lot. You're right.
Hey,
we used to burn all the couches in Fort Collins that were outside. That was our move.
Did you though? Did you take part in that, or were you?
I
Just
was there.
Present?
I was present, but I didn't take part in it.
Yeah.
I was
People
at a
were
couple
sitting
of
on it.
parties. Yeah.
Yeah, me too, Willie. I think we were probably there together. I think about that happening today, like at a college party. I mean, just I think we're past it.
Yeah, it feels like they really cracked down. It feels like we were the last generation that got to like really kind of riot instead of party, you know?
Yeah, break things.
When was the first time you knew I was into paranormal stuff? When was the first time you knew I was on the deep end of belief?
High school.
I know
for me.
specifically mine.
What's yours, Wade?
We were working at Hustler, sitting outside, talking about doing a radio show where you would tell me about all these alien things, and I would be the guy. I mean, it's basically this show.
Wow. Crazy.
Huh.
I don't remember that. That's funny.
I think it had to be in high school because we were always, shooting videos and stuff, and sometimes at night. And I feel like I'm sure we talked about it, or on, Tim's roof hanging out, watching the sky or whatever. Didn't we? We had to have talked about it.
I that's why I was asking. I think so. I was at the Hollywood Bowl last night and I saw 3 different types of UFOs. It was awesome. I saw a flasher, just a flashing light that like disappeared and then came back. And I saw one that was moving, and then the 2 people next to me saw another one like merge with it, but I didn't see that, even though we were all looking at the same thing.
Did you watch the show?
Yeah, but I know people behind me were probably like, "What's this fool? Who's this fucking guy looking at with fucking hats up in the air?"
Was the trombone guy on, or was this?
It was the
this
first.
big
It was
boy?
the first act. So,
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Do you know who the first act was?
I think it was Danielle Ponder. She wasn't a lawyer, but she was in law offices, and at 40, she quit her job to just start singing, and she was great.
What is this? Did they introduce her like this? How do you know all that?
She told herself. She told us.
Did I ever tell you guys when I went to Hollywood Bowl for Chicago?
No.
No.
I mean, don't go see Chicago. It's
That's
not
what I've
good.
heard. I heard they
They're
play like super old, random, weird stuff.
All they play is like their jazz stuff. They don't play like the hits that you know.
Yeah.
Well, Peter Cetera is not in it, and the lead singer now was always in the band, but he doesn't sing a lot of the Peter Cetera songs. So they do a lot of
Exactly, and all you want to
classic
hear
old
is
Chicago,
the Peter
yeah.
Cetera songs. But
Yeah.
anyway, they did like an intermission. They were like, okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and this guy's gonna come up, and we are like, what? Like they're gonna shoot something for a show or a movie. So act like you're really into it.
Oh boy.
I was like, okay. And so this guy comes out and he like sings his song, and I was like booing the whole time because I wanted to ruin their audio in some way, you know?
Yeah, you don't get to do free show at the concert.
Ah, man, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not gonna be an extra in your fucking TV show.
It was in the
And
fine print.
the lady behind, well, the way that they do it in LA is when you walk into a venue where they know they're going to be shooting something, they put up a big, like, you know, just
Poster board.
law kind of like you're going to be
Sandwich
on
board.
film. By entering, you consent to it type of thing. It's like their way to get you to sign a waiver without signing 20,000 waivers.
Nice. Interesting.
So he's booing the whole time, is being obnoxious and admittedly obnoxious. And the woman in front of me turns around and goes, "You're screaming in my ear." Oh God, it was the worst. I felt so bad, but then
No.
it made it worse for her because then I did more.
Was it an old lady, like an old woman?
No, she was probably younger than us.
Huh.
And like Hispanic, if that matters, or Latina. I don't know what you call them. Latina now, Latinx.
Yeah.
Some of them hate that. But I was like, oh, that's weird. But anyway, then like a year goes by, and one of my guilty pleasures is watching This Is Us. I don't even think it's on anymore. But
No,
I was watching the episode, and there's a kid in it, and he's like deaf, but he's a musician, and he plays this big show, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the I was there. I was there.
And you could just hear some guy booing. That's great.
Well, Willy, it was bad because he played the song twice because they needed coverage.
You said you saw a flasher and then one that moved across. And what was the third one?
Just a regular orb that like in the classic fashion where it was moving straight. Sure, could have been a satellite. I don't think we see satellites, but then it got really bright and disappeared.
That's still like seems like there'd be a lot of light pollution there, though, right?
I probably bring this up every time you're on the show. Yeah. You can only see like, dozens of stars, not hundreds.
Okay.
Remember in college, I called you up across town to look at what looked like a lightsaber on its side over the mountain, and you could see it.
Yeah,
like
vaguely.
A green light that like looked like there was a light going back and forth on it, kind of like the Knight Rider, but green.
I remember something like that. I think I'd remember it better though if I saw it.
I still have the
it?
VHS. Yeah. I still have the VHS recording, and you can't see anything, but you hear us just going, "Wow, what is that? That's crazy. Blues can see it too."
Wow, I'd like to see that. I don't remember that. I remember us catching a stray cat more than that. Feeding it.
What did you do with the cat?
We took it to Willy's apartment, and he was in married housing because he got in so late, and so he took it to his married housing apartment, and we fed it lunch meat, and then I think we went and let it go where we found it.
Yeah, all we had was Carl Budding ham.
Carl Budding ham.
Sure.
It's the best ham.
I was so
the
mad.
colon cancer of ham.
Yeah, man. This cheap ass fucking thinly sliced ham I grew up eating my whole life, and like, only 3 slices. One time Bill got some and he put the whole pack in one sandwich. And I was so mad. I was like, "What are you doing? That's like 10 sandwiches." But I was thinking about it. Stuff. It's like the whole package is like the size of a regular slice of ham.
Yeah,
totally.
It's like the gas station toilet paper of ham.
I don't know who this Carl Budding guy is, but he should be ashamed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Carl.
You could see through that ham. It was so thin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He just was the guy with the knife. Hey, what a great idea.
Give me that Carl slice, Carl.
His fingers are always cut.
So he's also really bad at it. That's funny.
Let me get you a new one. Let me get you a new one. This was a couple
I
of
accidentally zested my thumb today. I was zesting and I zested
Ooh.
my thumb.
Jeez.
And it was citrus too. So it just immediately hurt.
Yeah.
Hey Willie, what are we talking about? Hit us with that topic.
Tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, the abduction of Alec Newald in 1989. He's written a book about his experiences, and his story hasn't changed over the years. And it's not necessarily the abduction we're going to talk about. It's about what the aliens told him while he was abducted. So find out what they said tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi.
Well, don't leave us in suspense. What did they say?
Yeah, well, first off, we'll get into the abduction first. Like I said, we weren't going to talk about.
Okay.
No, 19.
He's Australian. Did you say that? He's Australian.
Yeah. He was driving for. Well, I think he's Kiwi, so he's a New Zealander.
Oh, but he was in Australia.
I don't know these cities. He was driving from Auckland. Wait, he was driving to Auckland.
That's New Zealand. Auckland, yeah, I think. Anyways,
his trip was supposed to take him three hours, right? He gets home and goes to bed and goes to work the next day, and he's like, "Fuck!" It was Monday. It's supposed to be Tuesday. It was actually Thursday of the next week. So 10 days of his were missing.
Jesus.
There's some accounts of people being like, "Man, how you doing?" We're giving him hugs, like, "Where you been? Where you been?" A couple days later, couple suits came by his house, working for the DSIR, the Department of Science and Industrial Research. They came to ask him questions, and he didn't know what they were talking about, and he shooed him off. Get out of here! And then
get out of here! Get out of here!
What are you going on about? What are you going on about? I'm just a worker.
Oh.
Anyways, he ended up moving and not telling anybody. He didn't tell anybody his address when he moved. And these same two people showed up at his new place a few weeks later. And then a couple days after that, his house had gotten broken into. So let me backtrack a little bit. At some point, like, he doesn't know he's abducted yet. He found a couple of big pieces of pyrite in his house, of fool's gold. And in his sketchbook, he saw some sketches he didn't remember doing. After somebody had broken into his house, the pyrite was missing and hit some of his sketches. And then he started having dreams, and these dreams were kind of telling him a story. And so he started sleeping with his sketchbook next to him, because he'd wake up and draw all these things that he was like remembering. And then all of a sudden he just kind of remembered everything. First off, he remembered his abduction. He felt heavy while he was driving. His car started vibrating. He felt light around him. And then all of a sudden he felt like ghost-like entities around him and they were like humanoids. They made him step into this glass tube, and it like created a suit for him, a skin tight suit, but also changed his face so that he looked like an alien for everyone else on the ship that he was on. And they started communicating with him telepathically, and they explained to him how it's hard to speak our languages because we need saliva and muscles, and we use organs and all kinds of things we use to talk, our breath. Then he was approached by 3 aliens. One of them was looked like a tall gray. One was like a little shorter. And then there was a tiny one. And the tiny one seemed like it was in charge. And it was communicating with him and said, "Hey, you can go back to Earth if you want, but we'd like it if you'd stay here." And he decided to stay. And they assigned a humanoid female with him, Xena, to walk around with him and teach him stuff.
Well, okay. Oh, but not a human.
Yeah,
well, what does humanoid mean? Because isn't everyone a humanoid?
Well, eventually we find out that she was a hybrid. So when he started talking to her, she was like his guide. Some of the things she said was that evolution happens, but your guys' DNA was messed with at some point. There's many races of aliens, some of them that showed up to Earth, and one race did some genetic changes to the Homo sapien. And these were they called them the elders. They were looking for a place to establish themselves, but they like colonized the universe, whatever. These elders were trying to help humans develop and evolve or whatnot. Even though we said
they changed our DNA way back when.
They altered the DNA of the beings on our planet to create us, right? To make us human.
This is the missing link.
Yeah, basically, probably. Eventually, a dark force came to Earth. The dark force kind of took over. She said it came and took hold of humans. It developedly set back humans thousands of years.
Was that aliens?
It was basically an alien entity that she's like, it's in the air that you breathe, it's everywhere. Huh. And that you and the earth are the same. And this thing fed on fear. And fear is not common in the galaxy. And so this thing, once it found out we reacted to fear that we had fear, that it kind of took over when we were about to develop into more enlightened beings. I know, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, but
well, I don't know when to interject because I don't want to fuck up your train of thought, but like how could fear on this planet not exist? I mean, every animal, fear is an instinctual because everything on Earth wants to kill you.
Will you talk about, the Star Trek, society a lot? And that seems to be kind of like the perfect like harmony society. There's no like money, there's no, you don't own any, you don't have possessions or anything. Is that kind of what they were shooting for?
So what she said was that the people, the aliens that she was with now were from the future, and that everything exists at the same time everywhere. And they just figured out how to cross those barriers, whatever, and that they vibrated at a higher frequency. So in order for anybody to see them, they have to vibrate lower. They're looking for a place to live, probably in the realm of colonization. Yeah, but Earth's gravity was
the bad guys,
the good guys too.
Okay.
So they're claiming they're good guys. I mean, like if you meet a race of aliens and they say that there's bad guys and that they're the good guys, like, do you inherently believe them or do you not?
Depends on what kind of TV you watch, because like if you watch Real Housewives, everyone's kind of out to get you, man. You better question all of their motives because they could just be trying to get their storyline out there.
She's giving him information and she's saying that they want to live here. They want to help us fight this dark entity, but we don't know that the dark entity is real. And so they've selected people to abduct, inform them, and then send them back to Earth to tell everyone else about it, to make them aware that there's this presence here that stunted our enlightenment.
So he's supposed to be like a disciple for him.
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, then why do you lose 10 days?
Well, he was gone, right?
These 10 days were him meeting with them, talking with them, hanging out.
Sure, but then he comes back and it doesn't remember it. It takes him.
That's what bothers me too. Mm-hmm. I mean, the story there's so much about it too. And I'm even after this whole show, I won't even have covered half of the stuff that he was talking about. But so she was saying that, like, well, we would benefit from being here and it would benefit you if we helped you. So, this kind of a.
But did she say anything about, like, because this dark entity sounds like the boogeyman, how are we supposed to combat it?
She's like giving him advice and stuff, right? At some point, like, hey, take this back and tell everybody.
Not really advice, just information. It seems like she was also, because I didn't hear, I mean, honestly, there was hours of information. I didn't get all of it, but it seemed like she was basically saying to prepare for something that's going to happen. Because she's like, we can't deal with your gravity and your oxygen yet, and we can't reproduce. That's why they That's why they're making hybrids, because they're trying to figure out how to get their reproduction to work with ours.
Did you say what year this happened?
This was 89.
Okay.
And
so they're like, in 40 years. I mean,
it's funny to say very soon when you can go forward and backward in time. So what's very soon?
Well, can you? If you're an alien, can you?
They can. Yeah.
They can. Yeah, maybe they overshot by a few thousand years. We're just talking to the wrong dude.
I mean, these guys, they don't.
There's a lot of Alexes. A lot of Alexes.
It's Alec.
Oh,
they were
Alec.
trying to get. They were trying to get
the
Alex.
wrong one.
Yeah.
They're trying to get out.
Are you sure? How do you say your name? Alec. My name's Alec.
I don't speak your language. That sounds close.
That sounds right.
Close enough.
Sit down.
Let me tell you what's about to happen in about 5 years. We're coming.
I know you don't have any friends and your family's kind of left you, but you're important. I mean, I always say this when it comes to any sort of cult or anything, when you're the one, it bothers me. Like, why are you the one? But he was saying he saw other people there too, and that
I wanted to ask that though, because you know a lot more about this world. Is this similar to any other? It has similar themes that we've talked about, but I don't think we've ever heard.
It's weird.
The aliens can't do the oxygen and the gravity, which is like you can travel through time and you can't figure out gravity.
Or like the dark force thing too, right?
Yeah, the dark force thing
was a corroboration.
We've heard that a little bit, right? With like the different aliens and stuff. But Willy, like, have other people said anything, or is this alone in terms of like the Jesus kind of complex thing?
I've heard a lot of the pieces of this, like the hybridization program, the all these little pieces, but but never that somebody was supposed to come back and inform us that we're about to fight this dark entity. I've never heard anything like this. That's why it's fascinating to me.
So I missed that part. We're gonna fight the dark entity?
She was saying that there was a race of aliens that showed up here, and they teamed up with the military industrial complex to try. Basically, different races are trying to win over Earth, right?
Yeah, well, we're doomed then.
And so this one race teamed up with our military, and they've been trying to hybridize things too. And she said that they are trying to come up with a hybrid that can resist the certain virus. And then they're eventually going to release the virus around the world. And only the ones that survive will be hybrids with this particular race that's not them. And so it's just crazy that, like, okay, once you start talking about different races trying to cohabitate, take over, rule the earth.
The 80s were pretty crazy, man.
What? Yeah. And I mean, 89, picture all the alien movies that had come up at that point. You know what I mean? There were tons, and there are tons of sci-fi ideas.
So you're saying you believe it. You believe that this happened, but you don't know if we should trust these aliens.
Well, I don't know if I believe it. I'm just fascinated with the idea that if there are people that are supposed to be informing us stuff, who are they informing? I've never heard this before, and
I just like, but it also is like this guy's doing a bad job. If that's his job, first of all, I don't understand the strategy of like, yeah, we're gonna send you back, but you're gonna lose your memory. But then maybe like you'll see some fool's gold in your house, or that gets taken, or also was that the government that took the fool's gold or whatever?
Yeah.
But that could be planned, right? That could be whole part of the abduction process.
Like this will reignite his memories. Yeah, sure.
But
it just feels like a janky way to do it.
I looked at one of the things that Willy sent me, and my biggest takeaway wasn't there like a tangible piece to this thing that kind of gave that guy some credibility? Like, to technology or
Oh yeah. Okay. So he had some cool drawings. This is probably isn't what you're talking about because this wasn't in this, but Xena said that the elders that came to Earth and helped create humans, they left behind. Oh wait, no, her elders. I'm sorry. They left behind plans for their spaceships because he was like,
whoa.
when he was first getting abducted, he's like, well, this is weird. There's a pyramid. And she said that when alien crafts, she said there's electromagnetic everywhere, free energy everywhere, and that's how we go to planets and we get the electromagnetic energy to power our ships. She said the way they do it is they land on the Earth, and when they land, they get a pyramid form because that pyramid form funnels and collects electromagnetic energy, which it does. And you might have been able to figure this out.
Allegedly.
It does, Wade. It does.
Allegedly.
No, I'll send you a video and then you'll agree. No, I'm kidding. And so the ship didn't really have a shape, but it does when it lands.
Now I'm just like, now I'm less into it because it's like,
wait, she said
your ship
that
transform.
She said that the plans to make their craft is embedded in the pyramid. And so it's basically like, here's the plans to the ship. And like, I've watched so many, of course they can't all be right, but I've watched so many videos of people being like, oh, this is weird because there are a lot of constants built into the pyramid that like are so random and rare that it can't be random. Just like how the king's chamber, the sarcophagus in there, it's not a sarcophagus, but that thing.
But then are you saying that the pyramids are defunct ships?
Yeah, and the plans are in the basement.
I'm saying it's not a defunct ship.
Basement. It's actually, the plans are in the basement of the pyramids.
It's the
not the Alamo.
The pyramids
There's no basement of the pyramids.
My favorite part of that scene is when the kid takes a picture of Pee-wee and then laughs really hard. That the pyramid actually is a plan for how that energy works to create that ship.
Okay, I mean, I guess, but like, ugh, that's gross. That's gross. It's too many different things. Like, we turn into pyramids, but also pyramids are not ships, but they look like ships when we land. It's just too much. It's too much.
And he went to their planet, and she said the suit provided nourishment for you, so you didn't have to eat or drink if you had the suit on.
That's what it was, Willie. It was how they got nutrition, and I think this is the same story, and was white gold or something like that. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Or some kind of powder, and we like use it now. Like I saw it on Amazon.
I didn't
for energy. What do we use it for? I mean,
for like cognitive ability and like to boost your brain power and stuff.
You mean
it's like a supplement,
like gold powder?
Yeah. Is it ginseng?
If you take gold powder, and I do take gold and silver. You
may check it for lead, dude. That's what I read about.
Well, I mean, there's a big.
What's the F? The F drug that's killing
fentanyl.
Everybody? Yeah.
Some people.
Iron, Fe.
I don't know if this is bad rumors. Yeah, good. Some people think that I don't want to.
That's right, Blue. Now. Very good.
That the only reason I was talking about that, Willie, I thought I read it in the same story about this guy, and they told him like that's how they got their nutrition was from, and they said you need to use this supplement, and he said that it powered everything, like their ships and their bodies and stuff. But I could have been skipping around and read through the wrong thing. So
I missed gold, that, but
okay.
Is gold powder actual gold, or is it? I think
it's a byproduct of.
There's different forms of gold. Yeah.
But gold does gold conduct electric? Gold does not conduct electricity.
Gold.
No, I think it does really well.
Oh, it does.
It does so good that I mean, if you take gold, all your electrical
Magnets
systems will
start
work
flying
better.
across the room
It
at you.
tastes like gold bars taste like a 9-volt battery. If you've ever put your tongue on one.
I've never done that.
Which
Have I?
one?
I
The
don't think I
9-volt
have.
or the gold?
Either.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
I
Huh.
spent
I'm scared.
I spent years with a 9-volt battery on my tongue.
Yep.
It's weird. There's so many better things. Drugs, booze.
Well, obviously I haven't tried it. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail with that. That tangent.
Okay, so
I thought it was a big piece of it, but I could
so
be
forget
wrong.
the gold.
Yeah.
Well,
But
wait, here's one more thing about this whole thing. She said that everything exists in two forms, positive and negative, right? And so when they mess with our DNA, because when the bad force came and messed with our DNA and sent us back thousands of years, whatever, it stopped us from being able to access our negative dimension. Negative it doesn't mean bad. It's just polarized. You know, if you look at the universe, everything is polarized. And that's why magnetism has got to be the answer to most things, because everything's polarized.
Magnets. It's the answer to our political problems. Magnets.
And she was like,
how do they work?
Magnets? It's about polarization.
I hate to say I do actually like that song, and it makes me laugh pretty hard too. So like to be able to make a funny song.
It's a ballad, isn't it? Isn't it a ballad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad. I don't know how magnets work. It's crazy. Life's crazy.
Fucking magnets. How do they work?
How indeed. Something about electrons, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But she was saying that, like, in order to access the negative dimension, we use our bodies to get there. And her example was, if you've ever lost your keys and you looked everywhere and you looked on the table and you kept looking, and then later on you found them on the table, it's not that you overlooked them, it's that somehow you can still kind of access this other dimension, so you can pull things from that other dimension, like your keys, which doesn't make sense, because what happened to the keys that were in your dimension if you lost them? But I've heard a lot of people talking about quantum jumping.
Had previously lost their keys, right?
They just swap.
These keys are just traveling through. Yeah, it's swap.
Or it creates a black hole.
The
destroys one of the universes.
Yeah, the sisterhood.
Stop losing your keys.
Of the traveling intergalactic pants.
Intergalactic pants.
So he wrote a book called CoEvolution, and the reason why he wrote that book is because here is this race trying to co-evolve with us. They're like, if we help you fight this negative energy, you can help us procreate. It's kind of like, so it's
why
weird.
Would we want that? Why would we
right?
want that?
Because they basically say
Xena was smoking, man.
One of them says they're humans from the future, but the timeline is so long that they're not even close to humans.
Don't they know how hacky that idea is? It's been done.
It's 89, dude. I don't know if it was done in 89.
89, it was probably on the cutting edge.
Could have been the first.
Yep. Maybe that's where it came from. Maybe that's why it's a cliche, because of this guy.
What happened to his suit, his skin tight suit?
So he would step into a glass cube and it would create the suit around him, right? So when he was on the ship, it was bluish. When he got on the planet, it was goldish, and it helped him hear their thoughts too. Because when he was trying to explain telepathy more, where he was saying things like, when you can communicate telepathically, there's a lot of other aspects to it, like frequency and sound and colors that transmit through, but you get a picture of what they're thinking. They just think so much more than just. But
did the suit only work when he was around them, or like when they put him? I guess he doesn't. Does he remember when they put him back?
No, I didn't get to the end of his story. I don't know how he got back from. I know, dude. I listened to like.
Don't know what happened to his. Don't know what happened to his.
Here's the problem, man. Like, there's so many like 2 to 3 hour stories that I'll listen to an hour and be like, I'm gonna change it up.
You never got to the end.
So he wrote a book and probably made a bunch of money, right? Did he sell it?
Yeah, it's available. I actually bought the book, but I didn't have time to read it. I bought
You
it
should have
last
just
week.
read the ending.
I was trying to find a reader for it, but it didn't. I don't know. I own it now. So he's 70 now. He's 70 now. He's still talking and doing interviews, and his story hasn't changed much. What's the point of knowing anything that he said? What like it and like it sucks that I didn't get through the whole thing, but like, yeah, how do you fight the evil?
And what is the evil? Like, how do we identify it even?
Dark force.
Just the dark force.
Fear.
That might as well be.
How do you fight fear? Maybe he's talking about anxiety.
So we're good.
Well,
we made Prozac.
So he was saying that dark force like entered the earth, not just humanity. So I don't know. I just can't picture animals on another planet not being scared,
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the tool to survive, right?
Dude, if they're not scared and we get there, they are fucked because we're colonialists. We will destroy them.
No mercy, man.
Unapologetic,
no mercy.
Man. Unapologetic, this human race.
I'm gonna take all their skin suits.
Okay, give me one of them suits.
Give me that sweet gold energy.
Step right up into the glass tube, sir.
Get your bodysuit. No more pooping, peeing, or eating. He did have he said that later on he was like, I think I was being prepped or primed to be abducted later, because when he was a kid he was talking about this recurring dream that he used to have, and the dream was he was a geologist looking for now granted he was at the time when dinosaurs existed, but humans were there too, and they were looking for this extinction level meteorite, and in the dream the earth was sending out messages to him, because he's like, oh, the earth is a living entity. The earth was sending out messages to them to get this meteorite out of the ground. And so it was cool to hear him say that, like, well, this is kind of like white blood cells curing things. Like, if the planet is alive, our purpose of being here on the earth might be to protect it and heal it and plant trees and help keep things. And like,
so we're like the virus instead of the white blood cells.
Yeah, we're supposed to be helping the earth, and we're just not.
Okay, but our existence doesn't do anything for the earth, right? I mean, if we weren't around, the earth would be fine.
Well, yeah, but like, okay, so like I'm just bringing this to something that I heard of recently, where it's like, they're trying to say small farms are bad for the environment, and this guy was like, look, my group of cows, when they eat and graze and shit, they actually take greenhouse gases out of the air and put it into the earth, because the way that they.
Well, yeah, but they do that, and we probably do it too. But like we didn't invent them,
Yeah, no, but just the fact that it helped. Yeah, no, I know. I'm stretching to the idea that, yeah, that we're like a cell in the body that is.
Wait, hang on. Did we invent cows? Did we?
No.
Did we like take some other animal and turn it into a cow somehow?
They might have been a lot cooler though. Like,
buffaloes are cooler.
We definitely are doing selective breeding. We
did make mules, but you can't say that mules wouldn't exist. Like,
no, I mean, horses and donkeys are so horny.
They're around, dude.
They would have.
They're both around. They would have hooked up.
Yep.
I'm reading the one review on Goodreads of this guy's book.
Nice.
And it's essential. They say it's essential, and it doesn't. But I was looking for like, what's the ending? It's essential because the technology transfer would make our worlds a more secure and wiser place to live. Access to exo energies, duplicators, enhanced ESP, etc. I love the part that discussed. This is why I'm bringing it up, because we're talking about living things. I love the part that discussed the seemingly small but fascinating technologies like the living and breathing buildings, the flying scooter, and more. So they have living and breathing buildings on their planet, which is thematic, right? With like the whole deal. And also
Yeah,
flying scooters. I mean,
like everything's biological, everything.
yeah,
And that was kind of what he said about the Earth, right? It's like a living being or whatever.
yeah. But I want to know more about these flying scooters. Have we been
Yeah,
have we been too focused on flying cars when the answer was just scooters all along? Because when you think about it, way less ways to die in a flying scooter than a flying car.
I don't know about that.
You can zig and zag, man.
Well,
Uh,
if you had some sort of technology to make the scooter fly, just like throwing it out there, maybe there's some sort of energy in there too that will make it so that you can't crash into something hard. You know, like how's this thing
yeah,
floating?
I would
It's
just put that in
everything.
my tennis shoes and then I would just have flying shoes. I wouldn't have to sit
Okay,
on anything. I would just stand and
well,
fly around.
I'd be laughing at you. I'd be laughing at you as I zoomed by. You're just basically walking.
Yeah, and you run into another flying scooter.
No, I wouldn't, because of magnetic fields.
It's all polarity, man.
My
See?
You'll always be negative and I'll always be positive.
my friend in grade school, we had to do inventions, and his invention was a flying car, and the way that it worked was by opposite magnets, right? So it would
Sure.
repel the car high enough, and
So
it
he
would
went to
go.
Epcot Center, right?
Is that the way that the tram works?
Yeah.
Is it really?
It might
Yeah.
be. Yeah. That's all
Mine
those trains overseas work.
mine was way more genius. It was a mailbox that had a vacuum tube, and it would bring your mail inside.
Like a bank.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly. I invented the thing that I saw in the bank. I was like, why do I have to go get the mail?
Wade, we're gonna give you a D on this project. Yeah, but it's not the same. You have to make the tube longer.
Also,
It,
mine went underground. I never seen a bank with an underground tube.
What
yeah, I think
happens
they
if you
always
don't get
drop
my? Are
down,
you
huh?
going to get my check when I write this?
Who knows where it goes?
It was Colorado winters, man. I was like, I don't want to get the mail anymore.
No, I get it.
That's the whole thing. That's what they say in Shark Tank. Identify a problem that hasn't been addressed.
Yeah.
Going
Or
outside.
improve on an existing
Yeah.
product or
Home
service.
bank tubes. They don't even do that in banks anymore, do they? Is that still a
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh,
In
yeah.
LA, we don't have those.
No.
Yeah.
That's because that building just still exists and it still works. Like, why not? Why change it?
Yeah.
We turned
They-
ours into a Starbucks. Fucking LA
a
humor.
a friend used to work at a bank as a teller, and he would always fart in his hand and put it in there and then send it out.
Fucking that's the dark force right there.
Yeah, that's terrible.
This and you say something coy like, "Oh, the smell of money." What? Oh, what? Is that me?
I don't think he was that smart. He probably just said, "How do you like that?"
Well, where we're at? I mean, we should wrap it up. So I don't know, Willie. What is the kind of, how do we wrap this up?
Don't believe every no. I'm gonna try to read the book and
Well, okay, so if you ever read the book, let's do part 2 and talk about how this guy made it back or whatever. I mean, that's what I'm curious about. I just don't understand. They're like, this feels like a rogue unit, and they're like, let's get this guy, bring him up here, make him look like an alien so that no one gets freaked out, and then we'll put him back, but we'll wipe his memory for whatever reason. Maybe just the process of getting him wipes his memory. I don't know. And then,
I mean, you're trying to promote this great story of how great these aliens are. This is not a good story. He gets abducted, loses 10 days, doesn't remember anything. And then when he does remember it, they're like, hey, somebody else is invading and you need our help.
yeah, what do I do about that? But that might be in part 2 of the book.
And what was the pyrite? Like, I'm just going like, if you're going to abduct some creature and send them back, you got to give them proof. Otherwise, you're just screwing them over to be crazy for the rest of their life. So here he is at 70,
well, maybe,
selling a book.
We haven't thought
no
about
new information. Yeah.
We haven't thought about humans doing that to animals. We'll take a deer and put a tag on its ear, send it back out there
next year.
Everything. It's so weird to me.
Don't forget to drink your beer.
These mountain lions have got these big things on their throat, like, no, it's fine. They're cool.
I know. Giant tracking devices.
Dude, and they meet the other mountain lions and they're like, you would not believe what happened. Like, I was abducted. And the other mountain lions are like, fuck off, dude. Like, that's not a thing that happens.
You put that thing on your neck.
You put it on there.
Look you put it on.
How did I get it on here?
You drew on a thing, you put it on there, and we're not listening to you.
All right, guys, just kill him.
Let's get him. So maybe it's that, maybe it's like, maybe that was all a ruse. Or maybe he misremembered. This whole thing about like the memory coming back to you, it's like remembering a dream or something. You never get it right. It's like, I forget how exactly this happened. And then obviously this guy's still speaking and making money on this thing.
Yeah, so he's got incentive, right? I mean,
here's my problem, and I'll keep it short and sweet. My problem with a lot of the people in this paranormal alien realm is that they kind of just end up, you usually get booked to tell your story. Well, the story's already out there. So then you got to just keep telling your story over and over. And so, like a bad Google search, you don't get anything new. You don't get the meat. It's just most of the stories were of his story. And I'm like, well, yeah, I get that, but I want to know everything else. And so, yeah, you got to just read the book, but just saying that, like, everything's dumbed down in a way. It's not necessarily, I don't think that he's making that much money. It's just that the money of the story is his story. And so we all get lost in just that. And so most things are just like, hey, this man got abducted. He has a story. Cool. That's it. Story's over.
Listen, I mean, I can imagine if you believe that this happened to you and you're not a con artist, you would gravitate toward a community that accepts you, right? And so I understand going and speaking at things where the people are actually listening and not calling you a maniac or whatever.
Bob's not your uncle. Yeah, go on.
That's just it's such a British thing. It's not a Kiwi thing.
They say it in Australia a lot, dude.
Yeah, it's Australian.
But they got it from Britain. It's all the
same. Wait. Is it what does it mean then? I
always thought it was Australian.
I always thought it was British. Did we ask Mob King? We did ask that.
Oh, I asked him if he said it, and he said he does say it.
Okay. Then I retract my statement. I don't want to call these people like mentally ill. It's hard not to think that they are. I mean, what's to stop me from just like coming here? Okay, wait, I'm sorry. If you're a really good writer and you write this, like, why not just write it as fiction? Like, why write it as something that you believe? And is it because it's more marketable when it's nonfiction, or is it because you actually believe it? Because
Scientology
it actually happened.
Yeah.
But we know that Scientology's made up, right? I mean,
They don't.
how
When you're born into belief, it's hard to break out of it, you know.
But there's a million people that join, right? Even knowing that like it's not real.
There's people still joining despite all the problems that they have.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're not educated on the facts, right? Or the wrong facts. But with this dude, so what if he does believe it? What does that mean? Like what's the point? What's he trying to accomplish?
Well, exactly. And that's I think what I was trying to get to, which is like, okay, so you're going around, you're telling this story, but like you don't have any real call to action for anybody, right? Because like there's just this dark force, and like you blew it.
And I will say it's really hard to get through his interviews because a lot of times he is clearly projecting things. He's saying what they think. I'm like, you can't tell me what this. I know that if it was real and you did have telepathic communication with different things, you still can't presume to know certain things. And so when you listen to him talk, he's like, yeah, that's why they started sending me information when I was 5. And I'm like, oh man, no. Like that, just stick to the facts.
It's like he's piling on to make to emphasize his point more, or to make his point, get people to believe him or something.
And that makes me less, because it's like you could say anything. First of all, if you're making it all up, like why distinct the things that actually happened and the things that you are gleaming, right?
Yeah.
You would just say it all happened. You would say they told me that. Which does that make him more believable that he doesn't do that and that he's theorizing on stuff? Is he a genius?
Well,
is he a genius con man?
Here's my parallel to him and anybody who's gotten any sort of power. I know that he's not like power hungry, but maybe he is. Maybe this is only shot at some. But like when people do get power and they're kind of unchecked a little bit, they start to believe things that they kind of make up, and they think that they're special and important. And you can, even if this did happen to him and there was a message, it seems like there's other things that he's focusing on that's not the message. I'm like, you're supposed to be an ambassador for us fighting this thing, and all you're doing is focusing on things that really aren't that big in the big picture.
Well, okay, but also like you didn't finish the book, so is that answer in there? And we just don't know.
And
he's like, it's dogs.
I hope that
dogs are the dark force.
But after trying to sit through 10 different videos, if there was a point, that's what you should start with.
Well, but you got to sell the books, right?
Yeah, you gotta make ends meet.
But anybody doing a story on it, the message is the most important thing, and the message is buy the book.
Right, but maybe they all just didn't read the book.
Tonight at 10, we'll tell you why dogs are the culprits.
That would be so sad, because dogs are so nice. If we found out that they were the dark energy and we had to just start killing dogs,
that would be terrible.
That would be awful. Awful.
The parallel is that I have with this sad thing is that, like, Moose playing Minecraft, he'll make like 1 million puppies and cats and dogs or whatever, and I'm just like, dude, there's so many here that the game is glitching out. So I'll just walk around and you can't delete them. So I'm just walking around killing puppies and kittens, and he's playing and he's like, what? And all he hears is the crying, and I'm like, I don't want the game to glitch out. I got to get rid of these fucking animals.
Go back, finish your math facts.
Get out of here. Leave me alone.
Meow, meow, meow. Oh wow. That sucks.
Like, you're gonna lose the whole game if I don't kill these fucking cats.
If you don't want to kill them, just get a leash, man, and drag them out into the middle of nowhere and just leave them there.
Oh, man.
A creeper will get them.
My mom's dad they had dogs on the farm and pigs too.
I don't
And
like this. I don't know if we should keep talking about
you're
this.
not gonna like it. You're gonna hate it, dude. It's gonna give you nightmares. And they would, if they had more offspring than they could feed, the puppies or the piglets would die. They would starve to death, or the other ones would smother them, and they would die. So when they were born, and if the mom couldn't feed them all, then he killed them. He'd put them in a sack and hit them with a hammer. And that's it. And my mom told me that. So I was a little kid when she told me that. And but then
that's life, Blue. Get
right?
ready.
And then I've read
ready for life.
I've read stories about that, or not specifically about that, obviously, but I've read stories since then that talk about doing stuff like that on the farm back in the old days. It's unbelievable. It's all Willy's fault that it made me think of that. I haven't thought about that for years. We should just end on that.
I know, dude. We're the dogs in the sack. So. You know, we're like some alien race doesn't better. Like us. We're not doing a good job. Like, get rid of most of them.
Please, just do it. Do it already. God damn it.
Put him in a skin suit and hit him with a hammer.
Listen, I mean, those pigs had no idea what was going on. They're like, "Oh, this place is dark," and then
like
you're dead.
Everything
right?
except this.
Except this.
I'm so happy. I'm like a dog, only I'm not a dog. I'm a pig, but I'm still very happy. And now I'm dead.
Yeah. Better than starving, I guess, or being smothered.
Fucking farms, man.
Right? Especially small ones.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and go to patreon.com. We're going to continue this conversation. I don't know what we're going to talk about. None of this stuff.
No.
It's going to be all good and fun. Patreon.com/RealLifeSciFi. That's it, right? Blue, do you want to point anyone to any... If you need t-shirts, go to outoftheblue.com.
Or Out of the Blue shirts.
Jesus, I'm so bad. I'm not the worst. OTB shirts. Get your t-shirts.
Willy Bad Movies.
Yeah. Do the Patreon thing so you can hear the positive outcome of this terrible ending.
We're going to turn it all around. It's going to be really good and uplifting. We're all going to leave tonight feeling better about ourselves.
Yes.
So thanks for listening. And remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Remember SNL? Bye-bye.
RealLifeSciFi.